Yeah, of course. Yeah, the season was poor. Fourth from bottom. They were lucky, really. There was three worse teams, weren't they? But no, listen, it was no surprise. I mean, once the season finished, Daniel never ever came out and said he was staying. So once he didn't come out and say that, you knew he wasn't staying. So it was pretty obvious. As soon as if he was going to stay straight after the cup fight, the European game, he'd have come out and said no, he's staying. He never did. So it was inevitable, really. Well, they all are. That's football. That's what footballers do. Oh, we love the previous. Well, why didn't you try a bit harder? You might not have finished fourth from bottom. That's the same old message. The king is dead. Long live the king. I mean, that's football. It's they all come out. Oh, the manager was great. Yeah, and the new manager comes and he'll be great. And then when he goes, yeah, sorry to see him go. That's football. You mustn't take any notice of what they say. Yeah, he looks a good guy. Yeah, I don't know him, but yeah, he's done a great job at Brentford, and I wish him well. They've had a lot of good managers last few years. Tottenham, Conte, gone and won a title in Italy. But you look at the managers, Mourinho. And it's incredible, the list. Look how well the guy's done at Notts Forest this year. So they've all been at Tottenham, all had a go. Let's hope he can do well.
Yeah, it was only a matter of time, to be honest. I think there's not just Tottenham. I mean, there's been loads of clubs, isn't there? No, it was just. Do you know what? It was good this season to see. Obviously Tottenham win the trophy after 17 years. Crystal Palace, Newcastle, even though it's come from someone that played for Sunderland. So I think it's just good for football, to be honest. But obviously it was a long time coming. But you have to sort of break that eventually. And it's good that the boys did it this year. And hopefully, there'll be many more to come with a new manager. I don't know. I think it's one of those ones. Listen, you never want to see managers get sacked. We've got the main man here. You never want to see managers get sacked. But at the end of the day, it's a football. It's a results game, isn't it? When you lose sort of like 22 league games, it's even though you go and win a European trophy, but at the same time you can't sort of forget about obviously your league form, your bread and butter, and that. So that's obviously why he's lost his job. Good, because I mean you look at a team now that should go into a new campaign confident, regardless of losing 22 league games. But I think finishing how they finished, winning a European trophy, hopefully these players will go into the next season with a point to prove. And I think with this new manager, I think it's a good time to be at Tottenham. And the reason why I say that because I think when you look at sort of like the potential and infrastructure and the training ground, the stadium, and the young kids coming through the academy, hopefully bringing a few more experienced players, a few additions to the squad. Hopefully, it looks like it's going to be Thomas Frank. I spent a day with him last season. I went into Brentford with Justin Cochran, who's the coach. I spent a day just to watch training and see how they did things there, and it was amazing. I was so impressed. So, hopefully it's him, and it'll be an amazing appointment.
So you think he'll be a good fit for Spurs?
Unbelievable. An unbelievable man, unbelievable coach. And if it happens, hopefully it gets over the line in the next couple of days. For the Tottenham fans listening, you've got a top manager there. Well, that's what happens sometimes, isn't it? When you sort of been staffed with trophies and that, and you get the first one, for some reason they just keep coming. I speak to some of the great teams over the years. Even when Sir Alex Ferguson went into Man United and they won the first one, and all of a sudden the rest is history, sort of thing. So, I mean, if Tottenham can do that, then it'd be great, wouldn't it? Because the celebrations were unbelievable if you saw them.
It's not been a great year, and it's painful to say that. Normally, I'd be more neutral and candid about it, but 15th in the Premier League isn't great. That's not Man United. A lot of things has happened in the club in the last 2 years. Not a lot of good things. All of that needs to stop, and it takes a long time to make that change. But a lot of changes has been made, and my hope is that all these changes, we make them at once, because once we've done it, then we can move forward. So hopefully, with already Matthias Cunha signed, and a couple of other players in the pipeline, which looks quite promising.
Yeah,
I'm thinking, Ruben has started to build his team, maybe behind the scenes, they're trying to find, a little bit of peace of quiet, and everything is settling down. So I'm hoping for a lot better next year.
Yeah.
It's painful not to be in Europe. It's painful to watch that game in Bilbao. It's probably the worst experience I've had for a long time. All that is painful, but the way we are built in Man United, the way we were we were trained to be was, yes, you have this, it's a really, really bad situation, but you got to flip it. There is something positive along the way, and you got to cling on to that. And what I'm clinging on to here is that we don't have in Europe is that we actually now have time to build. So we're not in Europe. We have time between certain games. We can now spend time on the training pitch. We can now give players time off so that, we get less injuries, and, we can start building. Now, we only want to do that for 1 year. We've got to see some progress. We're going to see us jumping the table quite a lot. So if that doesn't happen, well, then I'll speak to you next year, see what I say then.
Okay.